15 grocery items are about to get harder to find and noticeably more expensive, and the window to get ahead of it closes around July 2026. This isn't one supply glitch. It's several separate pressures landing in the same few months, and most of them are already showing up on the shelf if you know what to look for. A contact of mine works in grocery distribution. She tracks what gets ordered, what gets cut, and what quietly disappears before anyone announces a thing. She's flagged problems like this twice before, and she was right both times. Last month, she gave me 15 specific items. I spent 2 days verifying every one against USDA data, import records, and trade reports. It all checked out. None of it has hit the news yet. We'll count down from 15 to the single item that's going to hit the most households. Let's get into it. Number 15, olive oil. I want to start here because I almost left it off. I assumed this story was over. Spain had a strong 2024 harvest. The headlines said the crisis ended, and I told Marisa exactly that. She stopped me before I finished. Spain recovered in 2024. It's 2026 now. One good harvest doesn't fix a structural problem that shows up on my dock every week. Here's the part most people never heard. Spain and Italy produce roughly 70% of the world's olive oil. Portugal's harvest fell 20% in late 2025, and a 15% EU tariff now sits on top of everything. Prices were already up 25% year over year before the tariff even landed. Current price, $9 to $13 a bottle. Marisa's projection by late 2026, 15 to 18. Buy 2 or 3 now. Cool, dark, cabinet. 18 to 24 months, and you'll use it long before then. Number 14, canned tuna. 2 suppliers got hit at the same time. Thailand and Vietnam together supply about 59% of America's canned tuna. NOAA banned imports from certain Vietnamese fisheries effective January 2026, and tariff whiplash this year made distributors gun-shy about signing the usual 12-month contracts. When packers ration volume, the smaller grocery chains get served last. Current price, under $2 a can, sometimes more. Projection, 3 to 4. Canned tuna stores 3 to 5 years, no refrigeration. 100 cans at $2 is $200 and 6 months of protein. This isn't prepping, it's just math. Number 13, white rice. Rice is the quiet one. Several major exporting countries have tightened or restricted rice exports over the last 2 years to protect their own domestic supply, and that pressure hasn't fully unwound. Rice is the cheapest dense calorie on this entire list, over 1,600 calories a pound, and it stretches everything else you store. Current price, about $1 a pound. Buy the big bags. Sealed away from air and moisture, white rice lasts decades. There's no downside to having too much. That's exactly how these lists start. Not with empty shelves, just quietly harder to find. Number 12, coffee. This is the one where Marisa's tone changed. Not routine flagging, genuinely unsettled. She said, "Watch coffee. The aisle's going to stay full, and that's exactly what'll fool people." Here's what's driving it. The US imposed a 50% tariff on Brazilian coffee, and Brazil supplies roughly 40% of the world's production. Colombia, about a fifth of US supply, faces 10%. Consumer price data already showed coffee up 21% year over year through mid-2025. For context, coffee normally moves 2 to 3% a year. 21% isn't a rough year, it's a structural shock. When the big bags vanish first and the shelf gets backfilled, most people won't notice until the exact bag they've bought for years is simply gone. Current price, $7 to $13 a bag. Projection, 15 and up. Buy 2 now. Portion, vacuum seal, freeze. Grind, from frozen. 2 years of full quality. Number 11, Italian import pasta. Marisa told me a number I had to stop writing to absorb. 107%. Here's the math. a 15% base tariff on EU food imports, then a 91.74% anti-dumping duty stacked on 13 of Italy's largest pasta exporters, starting January 2026. Combined, roughly 107%. The landed cost of a box can more than double before it ever reaches a shelf. The tariff alone costs more than the pasta. The swaps are already running. By the time you notice the label changed, the replacement's been there 6 weeks. Current price, $1.50 to $3 a bag. Buy multiple shapes, and don't skip the lasagna sheets. Sealed and dry. Pasta holds 2 years past the printed date. Number 10. Canned tomatoes. Same tariff family as the pasta, and it hits the imported San Marzano-style Italian tomatoes hardest, the ones recipes actually call for by name. Domestic canned tomatoes exist, but the imported lines under that 15% EU tariff are the ones quietly thinning out. Current price, $2 to $4 a can. Projection, noticeably higher on the imports. Canned tomatoes store 18 months easily. Buy a dozen of the good ones now, while they're still on the shelf at today's price. Number 9. Butter. I pushed back on this one. Butter feels untouchable. It's in every fridge in the country. Marisa didn't argue. She just said, butterfat is a global commodity, and it's been climbing for 2 years. When the input cost rises and the shelf price can't keep up, the package gets smaller before it gets pricier. Here's the reality. Butterfat and cream prices have been under sustained pressure from tight milk supplies and strong global demand. Europe has seen butter shortages and record prices in recent seasons, and that pressure feeds straight into import and ingredient costs here. Butter is also one of the few items on this list you can actually bank. It freezes beautifully for a year with no loss in quality. Current price, $4 to $6 a pound. Projection, 7 and up, with smaller package sizes appearing first. Buy several pounds and freeze them. Wrapped well, butter holds a full year, and you'll never not use it. Number 8. European cheese. I pushed back even harder here. The cheese case is practically a store's identity. Marisa drew the distinction I keep coming back to. Nobody's walking away from the cheese program. What changes is what fills it. The origin, the wedge size, the actual product. The 15% EU tariff catches French, Italian, and Spanish specialty cheese, and unlike pasta, there's no clean domestic swap. Protected origin cheeses legally cannot be made anywhere else. A domestic Parmesan-style wedge can sit in the same spot at the same price. It is not the same cheese. A friend who buys the same imported wedge every week texted me 2 weeks ago. It was completely gone. The next week it was back, different origin, smaller cut, same price. She looked at it and said, "That's not the same cheese." She's right. Current price, $9 to $14 a pound on imports. Projection, 16 to 20, with more frequent origin rotation. Buy the aged hard styles, Parmigiano, Manchego, aged Gouda. Vacuum sealed, they hold 6 months or more. Skip anything fresh. If any of these have caught you off guard so far, drop which one in the comments. It genuinely helps me understand what most people are still missing. Number 7. Cooking oils. Beyond olive oil, the everyday cooking oils, canola, sunflower, vegetable blends, are under their own quiet pressure. Global oilseed supplies have been squeezed by weather and shifting export policies across the major producing regions, and a big share of the world's sunflower oil in particular comes from a part of the world that's been anything but stable. When the base oil costs more, every bottle on the shelf moves with it. Cooking oil is one of those things you never think about until it's expensive, and you use it constantly. The catch: most oils don't store as long as the dry staples. Buy a reasonable surplus, not a stockpile enough to ride through a price spike, kept cool and dark, used within a year or so. Current price, $3 to $6 a bottle. Projection: steady upward pressure through 2026. Buy 2 or 3, Don't overbuy past what you'll use in a year. Now, everything I'm walking you through here is just the short version. The full list, all 15 items, exact quantities, storage methods, and the order to buy them in is on my website. Links in the description. But back to number 6, because this is the one with the most severe numbers on the entire list. Number 6. Chocolate. Marissa flagged this one with real weight in her voice. Here's why. Ivory Coast and Ghana together grow roughly 60% of the world's cocoa, and both have suffered multiple consecutive failed harvests, crop disease, brutal weather, aging trees producing less every year. Cocoa futures didn't just rise, they hit all-time records, trading at multiples of their historical range. And it's structural. A new cocoa tree takes 3 to 5 years to produce. You cannot fix this in a season. Major chocolate makers have already been shrinking bars and reformulating across the board. Current price, $2.50 to $3.50 for a large bar. Projection, 5 to 6. If the big format survives at all, chocolate holds 12 months, sealed, cool, and dark. If you see the large bars, buy them now. Number 5. Eggs. I almost laughed when Marissa said eggs, because we've all watched egg prices spike and come back down. She cut me off. That's the point. Eggs don't drift up quietly like everything else. They lurch. And the next lurch is already lining up. Here's the driver. Avian flu has forced the culling of tens of millions of laying hens across multiple outbreak waves, and every major outbreak knocks out a chunk of the national flock for months. You can't rebuild a laying flock in a few weeks. The birds have to be raised back up to laying age. So prices don't ease the moment an outbreak passes. They stay elevated, then jump again with the next one. Current price. It swings, but figure $3 to $5 a dozen on the volatile weeks. Projection. More of the same volatility through 2026, with the spikes getting sharper. Eggs don't store long fresh, so this one's different. Buy when they're cheap, and learn to water glass, or freeze them if you want a real buffer. Don't pay top dollar in a spike week. Number 4. Canned soups and broth. This one's sneaky, because it's not one ingredient under pressure, it's all of them at once. A can of soup is beef or chicken, tomatoes, salt, wheat, and the metal can itself. Nearly every input on that list shows up somewhere else on this very countdown. When beef climbs, and tomatoes climb, and packaging costs climb together, the finished can absorb all of it. Marissa put it plainly. Watch the bundled products. They hide 3 or 4 separate price increases inside one shelf tag. Current price, $1.50 to $3 a can. Projection, steady climb as the inputs compound. Canned soup and broth store 18 months to 2 years easily. Buy a couple of cases now. It's the one item that quietly turns your rice and beans into an actual meal. Number 3, beef. I pushed back hard on this one. Beef isn't niche. Families build the week's meals around it. I said, "You're telling me ground beef is at risk?" Marissa didn't hesitate. "I'm not saying it disappears. I'm saying the big value packs are under serious pressure right now, and most people have no idea." Here's the data, and it's the heaviest on this list. The USDA put the American cattle herd at its smallest in about 75 years. The Farm Bureau confirmed meaningful rebuilding isn't realistic before 2028. You cannot grow a cattle herd in a quarter. On top of that, the US-Mexico border has been closed to live cattle imports since 2025, following a screwworm outbreak, cutting off well over 1 million head a year. That number is now 0. The USDA's own outlook projects beef prices rising double digits in 2026 alone. Then she said the thing I keep coming back to. The meat case stays full. That's exactly the point. The big pack shrinks or gets swapped for a smaller one at a higher per-pound price, and people don't notice until the pack they've bought for years just isn't there. A neighbor of mine drove to 2 stores last month hunting the large ground beef pack, found it on the second trip. I told him to grab 2 and freeze them. He bought one. That's the call most people make while the shelf still looks fine. The shelf is not going to keep looking fine. Current price, around $6.50 a pound on the bulk format. Projection, 8 to 9. If the big pack can even be found, buy it now. Portion into 1-pound blocks, vacuum seal, freeze. Ground beef holds a full year frozen. If this video's been useful so far, a quick like helps more people see it before these shelves change. Only if you think it's worth it. Number 2. Sugar. I'll admit, sugar surprised me. It feels permanent. There's always a wall of it. Marisa said, that's the trap. Sugar doesn't run out. It just quietly costs more, and the size options thin out. Here's what's behind it. The US controls sugar imports through tariff rate quotas. There's a hard cap on how much comes in at the low rate, and everything past it gets hit with steep duties. Layer on tight global supply, weather damage to cane and beet crops in major producing regions, and rising input costs, and the price has nowhere to go but up. Sugar is also one of the true forever foods, sealed and dry. It never actually expires. Current price, a couple of dollars for a standard bag. Projection, steady climb, with the bulk sizes squeezed first. Buy several bags now. Keep them sealed and dry, and they'll outlast almost everything else in your pantry. Number 1, flour. I put flour at the top because nothing on this list reaches more meals. Bread, pasta, thickening, baking flour is underneath all of it. When flour moves, your entire grocery bill moves with it. Here's the pressure. Wheat is one of the most weather-exposed crops on Earth, and the last several seasons have brought drought, flooding, and heat damage across major growing regions. At the same time, export policies in some producing countries have tightened. A huge share of the world's wheat also comes from a region that's been deeply unstable, and that uncertainty alone keeps prices jumpy. The USDA has flagged ongoing volatility in wheat and grain prices heading through 2026. A friend who bakes every week texted me last month. Her usual flour was gone, replaced by a smaller bag at a higher price. That's the quiet swap, playing out on the most basic staple there is. Current price, $2 to $4 for a 5-pound bag. Projection, steady upward pressure, with the bulk bags going first. Buy a few bags now. Sealed in airtight containers, ideally with an oxygen absorber, white flour holds a year or more, and the freezer extends it well past that. Here's what you do now. Before Marisa got off the call, she said one thing I want to pass along exactly. Stop waiting to see it on the news. By the time it's on the news, the shelf is already different. She's right. So here's a plan, broken into 4 weeks, ending before that July window closes. Week 1, the steepest trajectories. Olive oil, beef, and chocolate. 2 or 3 bottles of oil in a cool, dark cabinet. 1 or 2 large beef packs, portioned into 1-pound blocks, vacuum sealed and frozen. The big chocolate bars while they're still on the shelf. Week 2, coffee, butter, and cheese. 2 coffee bags, portioned and frozen. Several pounds of butter in the freezer. The aged hard cheeses, vacuum sealed. Combined, this stretch runs roughly $80 to $120. 1 dinner out, traded for months of supply. Week 3, the dry staples. Rice, flour, sugar, pasta. Buy the big bags. Seal them airtight with oxygen absorbers. Store them cool and dark. These are the cheapest items on the list, and the longest lasting. Week 4, the cans. Tuna, tomatoes, soup, and broth. Spread the tuna across 2 or 3 trips, rather than clearing one shelf. Round out the tomatoes and soup. Eggs and cooking oil you buy on price when they're low, not in a spike. One rule covers everything. Cool, dark, dry. Write the purchase date on every package the day you buy it. Oldest to the front, newest to the back, and rotate as you go. One honest caveat. Marisa could have some of the timing wrong. Supply chains are complicated. Tariffs get renegotiated. Harvests surprise people. I'm not telling you every shelf will look different by July. Here's what I am telling you. Every item on this list costs more today than it did 12 months ago. Every one. That's not a forecast, it's a documented trend across 3 years of public data. Buying now means spending money you were going to spend anyway, just earlier, at a lower price. The trade reports describe this in tariffs and import volumes. Marisa describes it in order sheets and blank shelf tags. Same thing, from different sides of the same building. Most people won't know any of it is happening until they're standing in front of a gap where their item used to be. At that point, the window's closed, and the new price is the only price. We don't panic. We just pay attention a little earlier than everyone else. That's the whole game. So, out of all 15, which one are you buying first? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one.